From director Bryce Dallas Howard addressing the return of Season 3 to introducing a fan-favorite Rebels character, these are the latest details of Star Wars The Mandalorian. After an agonizing 2-year wait, Star Wars fans are 1 month away from the 3rd season of The Mandalorian, and right now fan anticipation is at an all-time high. Did you know that a new trailer for Season 3 just dropped? You bet. The trailer revealed some interesting details. For one, the returning directors will include Rick Famuyiwa, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Carl Weathers. Carl also plays Greef Karga in the series. We're also welcoming a new lineup of directors as well, including Rachel Morrison, Lee Isaac Chung, and Peter Ramsey. Bryce Howard has been having a serious problem containing her excitement, and she's taken to Instagram to tell us all how it feels. In an Instagram post, Howard wrote, "Reunited and it feels so good. It's an honor to have been invited back to direct the new season of #The Mandalorian. There's nothing quite like the adventure, magic, and friendships forged on this show." Swipe to watch the trailer for Season 3 and mark your calendars for the premiere on March 1st, only on #Disney+. You know how Bryce feels about the Mandalorian's new armor?
Dictates I cannot be captured. I must be destroyed.
It's no secret that the Mandalorian has become significantly more powerful after receiving enhanced armor, and during a recent interview, Bryce said he's very strong, and in Mandalorian culture, we're trained to be warriors, so they can do that. But then, that's where Bacta spray comes in as well. The thing is though, the Mandalorian doesn't have a Bacta tank like Boba, so he uses Bacta spray instead. Bryce further added, "In the Boba Fett season, Mando got sliced by the Darksaber and then his leg was messed up. I was super excited to have that because I wanted to show he gets hurt and then heals from Bacta spray." In the online universe, many fans have all been asking the same question: what's next for the Mandalorian? Last year we saw Mando and Grogu return in the Book of Boba Fett, and everyone can't wait to see them together back in action again. But this time in their own series, and Star Wars fans aren't the only ones brimming with excitement. Producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are like kids on Christmas as well. Recently, Favreau teased that the upcoming season will be centered around the Mandalorian's future and his shot at redemption. Favreau says, "Well, we established in the Book of Boba Fett that there was an opportunity for the Mandalorian to be redeemed because he had transgressed against the creed by removing his helmet. As some of you may know, among this particular group of Mandalorians, removing your helmet is not something that is permitted. But we also know that there are other groups of Mandalorians with different sets of rules. For instance, in the Clone Wars, the Mandalorians are very different there. You know what ties all the Mandalorians together though? The homeworld from which they were exiled, Mandalore. Mark your calendars, Star Wars fans, because The Mandalorian returns to Disney Plus on March 1st.
Our people are scattered. I'm going to Mandalore.
Also, did you know that fans of the Star Wars animated series Rebels and Clone Wars are getting excited about Ahsoka? Ahsoka hits Disney Plus in March and will introduce the fan-favorite Rebels character known as Sabine Wren. Wren will be played by Natasha Liu Bordizzo in the live-action series. And get this, some fans think they may have spotted Sabine in the trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. As far as who will play Ahsoka, that will fall to film star Rosario Dawson. On Reddit, Star Wars fans are divided. They've been arguing non-stop about whether or not the character who briefly appeared in the trailer is in fact Sabine. While Sabine and Ahsoka's helmets are similar, their costumes are not. Ahsoka has appeared in The Mandalorian, so it's not inconceivable that Sabine would also appear. But something else doesn't feel right about Sabine being introduced in a trailer for Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Sabine has purple hair under her helmet and has decorated her body armor and suit with her own colorful artwork, so she has a very unique looking character. Also, if we do see her in The Mandalorian down the road, wouldn't it make more sense for her to appear in Season 4 after a proper introduction in Ahsoka? In Ahsoka, Rosario Dawson's titular character will find herself on the hunt for one of Star Wars' greatest villains ever, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Did you know that Ahsoka could even be the gateway to an entirely new realm? It's a place known as the World Between Worlds. It's a strange realm, and in it, time moves differently. In Rebels, Ahsoka used the realm to escape the clutches of the most iconic Star Wars Wars villain ever, Darth Vader. And if Ahsoka does take us to the world between worlds, it would mark a historic occasion. It would be the first time we see travel in live-action Star Wars. So cool! Ahsoka's release date is set for March 12th, 11 days after the premiere of The Mandalorian's third season. Coincidence? I think not. Speaking of Grand Admiral Thrawn, there's been a ton of rumors floating around regarding who might be tapped to play the bad guy, and some fans are hoping the privilege will be given to Lars Mikkelsen. But, according to Mikkelsen himself, he has not been approached to play the character by anyone yet.
I remember in Toy Story 3, and there's a point where the boy gives his toys away, and the whole cinema, all the adults were going, crying, and all the kids were going.
Mikkelsen was the voice behind Grand Admiral Thrawn in Star Wars Rebels, and during a recent interview he was asked if he was aware the fans loved his performance. Mikkelsen humbly acknowledged that he was aware and that he'd strongly consider playing the Admiral, but until an offer comes along, it's only a dream. Remember that time Liam Neeson was adamant that he wouldn't appear in the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then later had a role? Could this be deja vu all over again? For those who don't remember Grand Admiral Thrawn, the character originally appeared in the Thrawn trilogy of Star Wars novels, which was released in the early 1990s. In the books, the Imperial military leader faced off against many Star Wars characters, but it wasn't until he appeared in Star Wars Rebels that fans fell in love with him, even though he was a villain. In addition to Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka will feature Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Ray Stevenson. The creative minds behind the writing of the limited series are Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Kathleen Kennedy. Did you know the best moment of The Mandalorian thus far came in Season 2? In Chapter 16, The Rescue, Din Djarin removes his helmet for Grogu before saying goodbye. Earlier we discussed that Mandalorians are not to remove their helmets under any circumstances, as it is viewed as a direct offense against their societal code. But Din Djarin did not ethnically belong to the Mandalorian race, despite taking pride in the way and its teachings. After Din removes his helmet, he's essentially given a more personal identity beyond just his bounty hunting past in his Beskar armor. That gives him a sense of individuality that he never had before, and it humanizes him. In the pilot episode, we see Din inform IG-11 that removing his helmet is forbidden and that no one has ever seen him without his helmet. Thankfully, the series does give us a few glimpses under Din's helmet. He lifts his helmet in order to properly say goodbye to the child, which was an incredible way to send Grogu off with Skywalker. For the very first time in the history of the series, we get a front row seat to Din's emotional vulnerabilities. A rare occasion indeed. And there you have it, ladies and gents. Those are the latest details for Star Wars: The Mandalorian.
You mind answering a few questions?